The session is aptly called the long game because we are in the business to run it and not to run away from it. We spend thrice the money in R&D than marketing, and that's something we take pride in. One of the benefits of being a private company is we can take a crazy idea live.
So my first question to you, just tell me about your journey of Zoho, its ethics and governance structure and code of conduct. How this organization has become such a great organization, one of the largest unicorn, profitable unicorn, and profitable for a very long time. While many of the firms are struggling to become profitable, but how have you made this big in last 25 years?
Sure. Thank you, Dharmen. Thank you for the question, and thank you, the Convergence India team, for having me here today. Very excited. Wonderful show. I must congratulate the team again. To your question, Dharmendra, the session is aptly called the long game because the inside joke at Zoho is when people ask us about the fact that what's your exit plan? When do you go IPO? When are you planning to go public? Things like that. The joke is we are in the business to run it and not to run away from it. What that means is when the company was formed about 25, 26 years ago, even though I've only been here about 12 years, the idea always was to build something that people would use and take our craft very seriously. The craft of building technology, the craft of building software, products. And most people at Zoho who today are in the leadership role, they are at least 10, 15, 20 years in the company now. So it's almost as if you take a lot of pride in what you're building, hold it very close to your heart, and you are in it to keep getting better. There's a Japanese term for it called Kaizen, which is you keep improvising, keep improving what you're building every day. And that's what you look up to when you wake up in the morning, right? So the whole mindset, and which is often very different from a lot of ways in which certain startups have been built, is not to look at as a 3-year, 5-year horizon of taking an exit. The entire journey has been rewarding because people have spent their lives into building what they have. And that's how we've managed to build a suite of 50 plus applications serving businesses of all sizes, small, medium, large. It took a village to get here. We are about 15, 17,000 people today, about 55 products, customers in 190 countries. So a lot of people have put in a lot of hard work with a shared mindset, I would say, that nobody's in a rush to move on and to get an exit out of this thing. That's, I think, the larger philosophy of how we operate and why we do what we do. So that's how I would put that.
How do you differentiate yourself as from the marketing perspective? What are the points that you pitch? What are the strategy that you adopt to gain their traction? Because other companies are too big, globally very strong. They have maybe stronger sales and manpower, sales and marketing teams. But what is your unique value proposition that you pitch to them to gain trust of the customer?
Sure, that's a good question. We are up against competing with some of the world's largest companies across BUs, across categories we play in. If I was to answer the question of why we are different and why it works for us, the first part, how we are different, why we are different in doing this. A typical SaaS company we compete with in any vertical, you could take a space like a CRM or productivity and collaboration, which is business email, etc., or take finance, accounting software for that matter, or HR software for that matter. Every company we compete with typically would have multitudes of their marketing budget for that product where we compete with. In fact, we take a stance where our R&D spends are 3 times our marketing spends, which is unheard of in the industry. Most SaaS companies don't spend sometimes even equal amount of money they spend on marketing in R&D. We spend thrice the money in R&D than marketing, and that's something we take pride in, because a very heavy engineering-led company. That doesn't mean marketing as a function is irrelevant. Well, if that was, I wouldn't be sitting here today and have been around for 12 years, because we value importance of marketing, we understand that. But what we believe in is, offer a product that solves a need without overcharging a customer. And when do you overcharge? You overcharge when your overheads are too high. If I'm spending a ton of money in marketing my product or running an advertising campaign for a product, ultimately the customer has to pay that back. Somebody has to pay that money. So we keep our marketing spends low and we pass on that value to the customer, hence making the software affordable, number one. Number two, we are a company that doesn't have any advertising revenue model at all. A couple of years ago, we crossed $1 billion in revenue. Revenue, not valuation. Guess what was the money that came from ads? $0. And it'll continue to be that way because our business model is not advertising. So we don't monetize your data, sell your data, or have anything to do with your data at all. Even our free products have no ads. Now that again is a very strong stance in a market where every other company is trying to monetize user data. Okay? That is again and again, as more and more of us are starting to value our privacy, security, country's sovereignty for that matter. Where is your data located? Do all of us know the apps that we use where the data sits today? Do we know what all does our phone know about us? These are questions that people are starting to ask globally and in India as well now. And we always took a stance on the far end of the spectrum of being a clean company when it comes to touching users' data. So that business model itself helps us. And more companies, governments, enterprises are starting to appreciate our stance on privacy, our stance on making software and technology affordable and accessible to everybody. And we're a truly made in India, made for the world brand that has been around, profitable year on year and thriving. I think these things differentiate us well in a customer's mind.
Now tell me, I have a question. This is more relevant to the businesses. But what about B2C marketing? But if you have a direct consumer base, and is the cost, is the spend on research or privacy, these are the three aspects which are important for the organizations. So is there any differentiation between from marketing perspective to large businesses or enterprises versus to individual customers? How your marketing strategy actually differentiates between B2C and B2M marketing approach, if there is a difference or it is same?
Sure. So unlike a lot of companies that we also compete with, we are a pure play B2B company. Our customers are businesses. So for example, my mom would never be a Zoho customer, because she doesn't need a CRM or an accounting software or a HR software or so on and so forth, right? We do have certain apps, like a browser that we built, that anybody can use. But again, it's a free browser. And again, one of the benefits of being a private company is we can take a crazy idea live. Like, why would a company like Zoho build a browser called Ula? Because, well, we can. And we think that there's a need for a browser that values your privacy, that cares about your internet presence. So we could do that. But apart from that, we're mostly a B2B company. And within B2B, of course, we serve customers of all sizes. So there could be a small mom and pop shop selling a bakery item or running a salon that could use our products. And there could be a large company. Some of India's largest companies run on Zoho. They would also need Zoho. Our approach to engaging with them would be different. A lot of small companies who come through us through our self-serve model, which is you come to the website through a channel, could be email, could be web, could be an event like this, where, for example, you heard about Zoho today and you get curious, you go to our website, you sign up for a product. You get a 15-day free trial. If you see that solving some purpose for you, you may become a subscriber. You and I may not even have to talk to each other about it. So a lot of small business customers come through that channel. A lot of enterprise customers come through a more of a high touch model where there is engagement. For example, a large company, you can't enter their doors and say, I'm going to come in and replace everything with Zoho, because that's not how businesses work. There is a higher degree of complexity, compliance, interoperability, integration. SOPs may be different, so you need often a proof of concept, let's say, or a demo, or a customized integration. We do that for you. We have teams that enable that as well. So our go-to-market is different for SMBs and large companies, but essentially it's the same technology, same platform, same code of ethics, the same DNA of the company that serves customers of all sizes globally.
What is the share of large business versus individual buyers? Or is it mostly B2B?
It's all B2B. Even individual buyers are essentially solopreneurs running a company, a firm, a small business, like I said. And they all come to us through channels like website, events, social media, online marketing. The typical channels that any SaaS vendor would use is what we use as well.
Now, it's coming back to our theme of long game. Now, you have crossed the journey of becoming 1 billion revenue. Now, what from here, or where would you like to approach? Would you like to, you are already in multiple countries, your revenue may be coming from many other countries outside India also. So what from here, what is the journey plan from 1 to 10 and 10 to 100 billion? The way international giants have built, how will you accelerate your journey to reach to next 9, or I would say the next 10 to your revenue? How that long game will be planned? Any thoughts?
Sure. The rules of the game won't change. I can assure you that at least. We'll play the game the way we have. For a lot of us, we may be a big company now, but the way we look at it is some of our competitors, the biggest competitors, are still 200 times bigger than us. So we have a lot of headroom to grow, and we would rather grow playing the long game, which is being true to who we are, being R&D led company, not a sales and marketing led company, offering value to our customers, passing on the benefits to the customers that we save by cutting down our marketing spends, and being mindful of customer data and privacy. So we will continue to play that game. In terms of GTM, of how we are looking at building the next set of growth, is a few things that we brought in the last 5 years. One thing what we call is transnational localism, which is expanding globally. So we now have employees in about 25-30 countries, offices in more than a dozen countries now. And what we are doing is, as we go closer to the customer, because customers are in about 190, 180 countries now. So what we are doing is, in our key markets, we are laying an anchor by opening a local office and hiring people locally from that region. So what happens is, whenever we decide to open an office in a big region or a new region, one of us from the leadership team would go and lay an anchor there and then hire locally. That's how we get closer to the customer, because we've managed to build this business sitting in India and in Chennai for the longest time, with some offices outside. But we know the importance of being local, importance of having an office in different countries, hiring local talent, serving the customer locally at the last mile. Especially larger enterprises expect that of you. Localization, content localization. There are a lot of cultural nuances when you play in a European country versus in a country in Australia, for that matter. All of that is kind of what we are looking at as we grow 10x from here on.
Sure. So this is good that you're expanding globally, expanding locally also, that you are not only in that country with the product, but the product is localized, customized as per the local requirements. That's essential. Many of the large tech companies or product companies are investing heavily in the artificial intelligence engine to support or predict user, like ChatGPT does your work on a particular, does research for your work in a really good manner, so that you can further optimize or customize that. So many are using in consulting, in legal tech, in agri tech. These AI engines are helping. Now, how in the SaaS companies, what kind of extension or I would say for CRM or for user productivity, any engine or any intelligence that you will build in to become more responsive, more intuitive, and more efficient to the user needs? So how do you see that perspective? Is your R&D team focusing on any? Would you like to share some high-level insights?
Sure. So let me dissect that a bit and tell you how we look at AI. Again, AI is something we've been at for 10 years now, not last 2 years when ChatGPT came out. ChatGPT became the buzzword, but AI has been there for a while. I'll give a small example. Something as simple as an OCR, an optical character reader, or grammar correction in our word processor. These are all basically primed on AI. It learns, it gets better, it helps you get better. Something as trivial as anomaly detection. Suddenly if the sales drop, is the CRM letting you know? Or suddenly you see a surge in your tickets in your headless software. Is it intelligent enough to tell you that there is a surge on a certain date and a time because of certain activity? All that is powered by AI. And we've been building it for 10 years now. It's called Zia. Our AI engine is called Zia. We've built it across our products, across use cases, like the ones I mentioned for last 10 years. What we have now done with the invent of OpenAI, etc., is we've taken a two-phase approach. One is in the short term to integrate with OpenAI across our products. And any customer, if she wants to bring in their keys for OpenAI integration, he or she can bring that into the product and use their OpenAI license. That's a short-term integration. We've already rolled it out. Long-term, we're working on something like an LLM, which will be contextual to your business. Because again, referring back to the previous point, we are not a B2C company. We are a B2B company, and LLMs are damn expensive. The GPUs they suck is enormously high. And we are not solving a consumer need at large. So our LLM won't tell you, what's the best pizza place in New York, because a typical business doesn't need that query. Our LLM will tell you, as a business, how to optimize a process or how to seek better efficiency in an area. So we're working on an LLM as a fork there, and the other part of it is integration, which we've already rolled out. And the third part, like I said, is we've been at AI for 10 years now. There's a dedicated Zia Labs team. We have a Zoho Labs team that works on all AI initiatives within the company. Smart bunch of engineers working on it with good leadership. And that's been around for the longest time.
Good. Thank you so much.